Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day and each and every hour of the day. Thank you to everybody who's here with us at 12:32 Eastern Time to talk about Atlanta's 9-2 victory over the Sacramento Athletics. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter. You can over at bravestoday.com. That is Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. Catch him on social media at shortstopball. And Jake, 9-2 victory over Sacramento, or I guess over the Athletics. They don't call themselves Sacramento. As good as, or I guess as bad as the game was yesterday, this one felt like the exact opposite. Atlanta hits 2 home runs in the first inning, up 4-0 before they even recorded an out, and just really cruised in this one. Am I going to be disappointed when this doesn't happen tomorrow? Like, is this sustainable? Or is this just a minor league ballpark, a pitcher who couldn't locate his cutter, and some good swings by Braves hitters?
Yeah, I think it's the latter, unfortunately. But hey, we're going to try to be positive as we can be on this one because the Braves won a ball game, and it feels much better when we do this as opposed to when it happens to us. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun seeing the top of the lineup do a lot of work, do a lot of damage. Ronald back in the lineup immediately goes deep. I mean, I don't want him getting hurt all the time, but if he comes back every time and hits a home run in his first at bat, I mean, that's a pretty cool trick that he has there. So
2 home runs.
I mean,
one
so
missed game equals 2 home runs, apparently.
Yeah, hey, it's a pretty good ratio every other game. So yeah, I mean, just a lot of fun getting to see them do this, and need a lot more of that, obviously. And this is what we thought this lineup could be. So yeah, good to see it, once every week or so.
Yeah, very much felt like 2023 with all of the home runs, the crooked numbers, 4 runs in the first, 2 more runs in the second. When you look at the top of the order, and I think this is what we all expected this offense to look like. The combination of Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, and Drake Baldwin went 8 for 18 with 8 runs scored, 7 RBI, and 4 home runs. It's the most 2023 stat line that there is. And I almost feel bad pointing this out. And I apologize in advance to everybody who wanted nothing but sunshine and positivity in this. The bottom 5 of the order combined for 3 hits. And so, this is one, as much as we've complained about the top of your order not carrying this team when they needed to, this was absolutely a game where they carried you because the bottom of the order didn't do much. But I'm trying to figure out how much of this is the minor league ballpark and how much of this is just they got good pitches to hit from a pitcher in Mitch Spence who his primary pitch is a cutter that the Braves hit really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both, I think. And it's good to see, too, with the top of the order, as you mentioned, because they've had some very hittable pitches in this season that they have not hit. And so I think part of it was just a guy that clearly didn't have it tonight, the same way Fuentes didn't have it the night before, and an offense just took advantage of that and things snowballed. I mean, it really is eerie how similar these first 2 games were in opposite directions. Just kind of the same thing. Pitcher early on just kind of struggling, and you struggle a little bit in that ballpark. I mean, Booney talked about, I did a crossover, Booney of Locked On A's coming into this, and he said it is a bandbox. He said there'll be a lot of runs scored. And I said there'll probably be a lot of runs scored by your team with the way this offense has been going. But it's worked out so far in this series, and the fact that there's been 2 games, and in one of those games you've had a team put up a ton of runs. So I think it's just a ballpark and a combination of some bad pitching, just to be quite frank.
Yeah, and to Nate's point in the YouTube chat here, he says Braves came with intent to hit, not to walk, and that was the big difference. You could really see the aggressiveness from the Braves hitters, especially in that first inning. A lot of those hits, Ronald's home run comes on, I think, the 3rd pitch of the at-bat. A lot of early swings from the Braves. And you look at the fact that Mitch Spence goes, I had it here just a second ago, 6 innings. He gives up 8 runs on 9 hits. He faces 28 batters, and he comes out with 79 pitches. Just this is the type of game that when you connect on all those early swings and you get the power production, we're excited and we're happy about it. If you were to whiff on those, if you were to miss on those, and end at-bats early with weak groundouts, we'd be over here cursing and complaining about these Braves hitters not doing anything with their opportunities. But I think to your point on a guy not having it, Mitch Spence threw 29 cutters. Atlanta swung at 15 of them. They missed 2. They put 9 into play. They had 24 balls in play on Mitch Spence. And my favorite thing of all of these, I think, was they had 4 sinkers in play, and the average exit velocity was 94 miles an hour. He really, other than the curveball, he really couldn't keep them from getting good swings on anything. And part of me wonders, is that repeatable? Hey, we're going to go up there early in at-bats. We're going to swing, be aggressive like we did back in 2023, and we're going to score some runs.
Yeah, I mean, in this second half, I know we're looking to see, and I've talked about it a lot, what is the identity of this offense going to be? Are they going to try to continue with the same patient approach they had, or are they going to go back to just the, aggressive, get my A swing off every single time? And tonight, it looked like they kind of went back to the old style, which, as you said, it's great when you're getting that hard contact, but you're facing the Zach Wheelers of the world, and you're being super aggressive, and you're having 6 and 7 pitch innings. And next thing you know, Zach Wheelers threw 7 innings with a shutout. So again, it's great. And that was even the case in 2023. Yeah. As you would have these aggressive swings, you would have these aggressive at bats, which would lead to some early innings. But if you run into one every now and then in those first couple innings, you're putting up a couple of runs on the board, which is more than what this offense approach has done so far this season. So again, I've said it, I'm on board with just going back to the old approach that this offense has had, is just going there, be aggressive, try to get your A swing off. I would love, and again, I know I sound like beating a dead horse here, but I would love for this offense to be more well-rounded. I think they've just proven they can't be. So go back to what worked for you.
The personnel you have can't change to be that.
Correct. So just go back to what was working before and try that approach in the second half and see if you can do a little bit better than that. I don't know if they can go 50-21 or whatever to try to get back in the postseason, but again, my biggest thing in the second half is, what is your offensive identity going to be? And that's what I'm going to be watching a lot with this offense. And tonight, it seemed like they were going back to the old just boomer bust approach.
Yeah. Marcell Ozuna, special acknowledgement to him, top of the 6th inning. He gets a home run here. It was a second pitch cutter. He looked at the first one in the zone. You hate that. But he got a belt high cutter on the outer third, got a good swing on it. It's his first home run since the Colorado series. Part of me hopes that can be something. He looks like he's moving a little bit better. This is obviously a good swing. My hope here is this is the start of getting him back to where Atlanta needs him to be a complete offense. He's been moved down in the lineup. Obviously, I mean, he was batting, he's batting, I think, 6th today. Yeah, 6th today, ahead of Ozzie and Michael Harris, who, I hate to point it out, you did before we got on, they go 0 for 7. They don't strike out. Credit to Ozzie and Michael Harris. They don't strike out, but they go 0 for 7 in this one. Ozzie does walk, which is just always amazing when it happens. But hopefully this offense is a little bit of a start of something going forward. Bryce Elder had a really good start, and I want to talk about whether that could be the start of something going forward. We'll do that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. If you ever run a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency, like a burst pipe. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you wait for them to call you back? No, you called the next one on the list. That's why having a reliable business line is so important, and that's why you need OpenPhone. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. Like if you juggle 2 phones to keep business and personal calls separate, OpenPhone can solve that instantly, and your whole team can share one number and respond to customers like it's a shared inbox. So OpenPhone is offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. If you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Last comment I want to make on the offense before we get to Bryce Elder is these 5 home runs. This is the season high in homers in a single game for Atlanta. So hopefully this is the start of something, and we can challenge that record in the coming days. All right, so we get the good version of Bryce Elder, and I jinxed it a little bit. This is kind of on me. Bryce Elder finishes with 2 earned runs on 8 hits in 6 2/3 innings. He had only allowed 1 run through I think 3 innings, and then it kind of snowballed on him late. But I think the biggest difference for me on Bryce Elder here, he really leaned into the sinker. I feel like when he's had his best starts, it's been the slider's been doing a lot of the work, but not only did he really lean into the sinker, the Athletics couldn't hit the sinker. 13 whiffs on 25 swings against a sinker is not something you see a ton in baseball. I can't really figure out, was he doing anything different? It didn't look anything different to me. The locations looked the same. I think this was just he wasn't missing on his locations early with it, and the A's weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, look, it takes a special set of circumstances for Bryce Elder to be good, and I think tonight was one of those perfect circumstances. He was able to locate the sinker and slider down in the zone. You got a team that was willing to chase it. I was expecting to come in here and see that the slider had 20 plus whiffs, because I thought the slider was really, really good tonight. He was able to locate it in the zone down to the way. He was able to drop it out of the zone for the swing and miss. I thought the slider was really good. I was shocked to come in here to see that there was that many swings and misses on that sinker. But it just goes to show, man, when he has his good stuff like that and he's able to locate it down in the zone, he can be really, really good. And it's just, you never really know from start to start what you're going to get from Bryce Elder. It's a very, I say it all the time, it's a very thin margin of error for Bryce Elder. If he's not able to locate that, if he doesn't get the calls on the borderline calls, if he doesn't get a team that chases below the zone, and if those pitches stay up, he's going to get absolutely hammered. But he can deliver these starts like this for you every now and then. It also helps when before you even take the mound, you're up 4-0, and by the time you take the mound for the second inning, you're up 6-0. So that kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off, allows you, I think, probably be a little bit more loose and comfortable and relaxed throwing your pitches and not being as afraid to come into the zone. So I think that certainly helped him too.
Yeah, and when you look at some of the hits that he gave up, a couple of these were ground balls that happened to get through. One of them, Brent Rooker's single in the 7th inning off of Elder was 50 miles an hour. Just happened to be slow enough and at the right place where they couldn't really make the play. A couple of these, he did give up some hard hit balls, that's going to be a Bryce Elder thing. He's going to do that. Every pitcher's going to do that. But for the most part, a lot of the hits that he ended up giving up were on the ground. Some of them were low probability hits. That Rooker ground ball had the expected batting average of 240. So obviously it's a hit because that's the 2025 Atlanta Braves. I do think that a little bit of me was concerned about Elder coming back out for the 7th. And I think that as much as we dog him, Brian Sitker played this right. The first real kind of sign of trouble for Elder, he goes to Dylan Lee. Dylan Lee gets out of it. I don't remember exactly. I felt like it was 2 pitches. Just comes out and absolutely handles it. I think he gets Nick Kurtz on 3 sliders all off the plate, 1 called, 2 swinging. But you do that, and then you still got Daysabel Hernandez for a clean 8th, Rafael Montero for a 9th. Feels like Atlanta is starting to get comfortable in that back end. And when you give them, this is a big lead, but even when you give them a small lead, I kind of feel like I'm no longer worried that this pin's going to just absolutely blow that lead like we felt 2 months ago.
Give me 2-run cushion. 1 run, and I don't know.
A little nervous still.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's certainly some arms out there I think you feel a little bit better about. Obviously, Dylan Lee, Daysbel coming back. He's looked good since returning, and he was a big piece, before he kind of lost the command and then the injury before he went down. I mean, he was your 8th inning guy there for the most part. So to have him back now and looking really good, having Dylan Lee, Iglesias has been better. Pierce Johnson's good. Montero, I know he had a rough start in the extra innings game the other day, but he's looked a little bit better. So yeah, I think the back end of the pin is starting to be firmed up a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel good about how little you had to use the pin today after an impromptu bullpen game yesterday. Spencer Strider takes the mound against JP Sears tomorrow. It's another lefty on the mound against Atlanta. but I feel like I'm a little bit concerned about Spencer Strider in a fly ball pitcher in this ballpark. It feels like this is probably the wrong ballpark to count on Spencer Strider and maybe count on the under or count on a lot of length in a ballpark that, to Booney's point, I think I wrote about this over on bravestoday.com earlier this week. This place has been a bandbox at nighttime all year. This is another late start, 9:05 p.m. Good news is you don't have any more 10:05 p.m. starts the rest of the season. Everything is 9 o'clock or earlier, so that's nice. But I'm a little bit nervous about this offense has to show up for at least one more game.
Yeah, and they've struggled against lefties this year. 658 OPS against left-handed pitching this year, and you saw it in that first game too. So if it does become a shootout in this one, I don't like the Braves' chances, but I do like Spencer Strider. I think he's been really good. I know a tough hitting environment for him here to pitch in with somebody that does typically pitch to fly balls, but I'm excited to see him back out there. He's one of my keys in the second half too. No matter what happens, I want to see Strider continue to progress and hopefully get back to the Strider that he was before.
Yeah. I mean, he's the guy you want if you're trying to win the series. It's just not a great combination of player, opposing team, and opposing ballpark. Yeah. All right. So again, Braves win this one 9-2. We will be back tomorrow to break down game 3 of the series as we head into St. Louis before the All-Star break. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. If you're watching on YouTube, one, thank you for being here. It is 12:48 a.m. in Atlanta and in Eastern time. Thank you for being here with us. We will be back tomorrow. Do us a favor in the meantime. Subscribe to Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when Jake has more pre-draft stuff coming. You know when we drop the MLB draft show that I'm hosting on Sunday night. And you know when we go live to talk about more Atlanta Braves victories between now and the All-Star break. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.